kind of leaning into like the overcoming, you did speak about that. And
Mm-hmm.
the thing, again, is focusing on God only gives you what you can handle. But that's not an invitation to step back and not take responsibility. Like, no,
Right.
he only gives you what you can handle. So if he's giving you a scenario, a situation, it's not that he says you can't handle it, so don't try to work on it. No, step up to the plate, find what's missing, fill in that missing gap, fill in whatever is missing. And I keep saying the same word, step up to achieve, step up to do the work, to whatever needs to get done. Like, again, like you said, your story, you were walking through the streets and you're like, what am I doing with my life? This is my day to day? Okay, well, do something about it and step in to change it. I think that's, overcoming. Overcoming is acknowledging something's missing, something's wrong, something's not 100% right. So now I need to do something about it. By the way, Jeremy, feel free to chime in at any point.
I'm loving this. This is great. This is like, just letting it play out.
Jeremy's told me for like at least a year, maybe more, if I'm thinking about it. Yeah, probably more. That we should have a podcast. So like, it's more me dragging my feet.
Yeah, well,
I mean, you wear a lot of hats, so I'm not going to push that. So
what's one more hat to put on?
That's one more thing on the platter. But no, okay. So with the whole overcoming idea, I see that I just found that where I could see comments. Sorry about that. My bad. So I see that Rick made a comment, and then Gracie was agreeing with it. So that a crisis can be the furnace that molds and develops us. So I think that's a really interesting, thought especially in the mindset of overcoming, right? And that, there are many things that happen in our lives that are these kind of foundation stones, if you will, that now become almost like a building block in our life. And if you step back and look at the wall of your life that you've built, you can see, there's happy memories, like those core memories, and there's this and there's that. And there's these crises that are in there sometimes, connecting things, holding things together, and, being those things that I think, to me, if I think of the crises in my life that I've had, they are the things that often they deepen my well.
Mm-hmm.
They deepen my well, so that when I'm faced with another difficulty or challenge, I have where to draw from.
Wow.
That's right.
Golden chicken nugget.
Golden chicken nugget. I feel like there are things that happen in our lives that are profound and that are these, I'm just flooding through my head right now are all these different things that have happened in my life, right? And that I've experienced. And it's sometimes in those moments of great challenge or deep sadness or, frustration even, that I look back and I can see clearly lessons and tools I walked away with, whether they're practical or more like on an emotional level, right? So, like one was I was at a meeting one time, and it was like late at night in this building and whatever, and we were all literally getting ready to walk out the door, and off the street walks in a guy who was like bleeding. And we don't know what happened to him. And like, was he attacked? Is the attacker following? Like, what's happening here? Did he just like fall on something? Hurt himself? Like, who's this random person? Happened to be that a doctor was there and was able to like, help with things. And I kind of became nurse a little bit there and like was helping and getting practical things that he needed, but able to have that, sense of mind to calm down, where like sometimes you can, fight or flight kind of situation can kick in. You're like freaking out and you're hyperventilating. And like, I was able to be really focused and take care of the situation as it was. And so like from that, I feel like it wasn't maybe a personal crisis. Like it wasn't me who was the one hurt, but I was like all of a sudden involved in something that I didn't know what was like any of the details. Right. And like that, I would say was something I walked away with practical skills. oh, okay. So when you're in a crisis and somebody's like really highly injured, here's the process that
Right.
you go through. And like, okay, just because you call the medics doesn't mean they're there right away. Like you have to do some things to help the person. And so I would say I probably took more like practical skills from that. But then I feel like if you want to say like, I'm trying to think of his wording as molding and developing of a person, is that, I feel like there were different, one of my brothers had massive health challenges when he was young. And I was the person who not discovered it or found it, but I was the one babysitting when he first displayed them. He started having a grand mal seizure for no apparent reason. Wow. He wasn't epileptic. He wasn't like nothing, like it was out of the blue. And I was babysitting. And I was like 12, I think, 12 or 13 at the time. And my parents weren't far away. So it wasn't like, I was like, wow, they were miles away. They were like literally just in another part of the area that I was at. But like I was by myself. And I start seeing my brother like jerking around and seizing. And I don't know what that is. Right. And so like, yeah, I walked away with practical skills for sure. But I would say probably from that was a lot more emotional skills, and a lot more like deep well things that you draw from of like, okay, this is a bad situation, but it's not that bad. Yeah. Like I know what that is in another way. And this will be okay from it. I'm drawing from that emotional well, I think. And that happened at such a young age that it was very much a thing that was just a deep foundation of connection, of family, of how you take care of each other, what you do to look out for somebody, and how people look out for you, and just those deeper things that are like core in a person. Really, I think were solidified at a young age. Of also the fragility of life, and that you have to value things, and you have to take what that gives you, and not for granted what you have in your life. And even if it is a difficulty, and even if it is a challenge, and even if it is, something you'd rather not be doing right now, in that big crisis mode, or in that everyday mode of like, really another blowout. My child just had one yesterday. Like, I'm late already. Why do I have to have another one now?
Thanks for clarifying who was having the blowout.
Not the car, my child. Yes, true story. Moms will understand me. They will feel me the moment you're ready to go out the door, and the child's like, "Ha, got you." And,
I just want to actually jump in one quick second on this, because this is so important, and it's like really massive golden nuggets here. And also attesting to the book, like what Liam was sharing was that, you see, what Liam and I term, work-life synergy, is the idea of there's all these life experiences that we've experienced in our life, and we could pull from those experiences in our professional life as well. So, a lot of people, what tends to happen is that they don't talk about, like entrepreneurship is the most incredible thing to do, and everything. And you want freedom, go be an entrepreneur. But it comes with its challenges. It comes with its hardships, and there are parts of it that are difficult that seems that nobody really talks about. But
hardest, best thing you'll ever do.
Yes. And so what tends to happen is that, in my situation where I had a very, very big life event, and it caused me to really dig deep and think about myself, and really, ask myself, well, okay, so what does it mean to be in a relationship? What does it mean to have a wife, or stuff like this? It came from the divorce that I had to experience at a very early stage in my life. And it was very difficult. And so, I pictured myself this ideal woman that I think is right for me. And I was told that she doesn't exist. And so I went on an entire journey to say, well, if God gave me this path, and if I had to deal with this, then, and if this is what I'm discovering when I'm, looking at myself in the mirror, then this must exist. And so it was an entire journey how to find that and discover it and do the work that I had to do in myself, which is going to tie into how we plan to wrap up in a bit. But I had to take my steps to get to wherever I got to. And ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at the woman that I literally, envisioned all this time. I wrote a list of like 4 pages long. Liam is pretty much to the dot.
Live up to a lot, y'all. Just saying.
Don't humble yourself. Come on. But anyway, so
he had to live up to a double-sided, and it wasn't handwritten; it was typed up page. So
yeah, so there we go. That's true. That too. But anyhow, the idea is that and all the steps that I took to achieve that impossible dream that everybody was telling me elusively was impossible. I'm drawing from those lessons that I did to attract my wife and everything. I'm taking them today, right now, and I'm applying the exact same thing step by step, and I'm doing it in my business every single step of the way. And I'm drawing from all of my experiences and everything that I've done, and I'm putting it out there, and so to me, I know for sure that I'm going to succeed because, well, I get to see it every single day. But the point is that if I went through this and if I had to do this, I'm going to challenge somebody else to do this as well. So for me, to answer just to Liam's thing that she was saying was, I think it's the big and the small, but coming together, synergy, like putting them together. And that's a very important, because life just happens, big and small, all happens at the exact same time. So I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah.
But I think it's funny that this is the week that I'm on the live for when it's 18, which 18 in the Jewish faith is a big number because it's about chai, it's about life and bringing life. So I get to be here for the life episode. Yay.
Yeah.
I like that. But also on a bigger, more interesting scale to me is that, we're here talking about, God doesn't give you more than you handle. And as I was reminded that today was today and not tomorrow, I was like, oh, I've had a lot going on this last week. We've had a lot going on this last week, and it just wasn't, in my mind, the most ideal week to do an interview. And it was just like, oh man, how did this coincide? And it was like completely outside of our control. Like I couldn't change the schedule of how things were happening. And just like a lot was going on. And so I really think like this still was the most ideal day because I'm like literally experiencing God's not going to give you more than you can handle. And like the past 2.5 weeks. And it's been a lot. And my house is kind of upside down right now, literally. And there's just a lot of things going on. So, it speaks to a little bit of that, the big and the little, because it's, it's the everyday, but there's also some big things happening. And it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, but we could do this. Like, let's focus and just do that one thing in front of you. Whatever that one thing is in front of you, get past that and then look for that next thing. And is it big? Is it little? Is it